I'm Deborah Moss West. Hello, everyone. I was born and raised in the Bay Area, San Francisco to be exact. I went to San Jose State and then Santa Clara and graduated in 1994. I didn't always want to be a lawyer. Really, I was kind of intimidated about the thought. Didn't even tell anyone I applied and told people when I was going, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to go to law school in a couple of months, that kind of thing. I always wanted to be a teacher. My dad wanted me to be a lawyer. He saw a lot of injustice in our community, believed that lawyers had access to resources that could bring about some much needed change. And so I do what many people do. And once I graduated from undergrad, I said I was going to follow his wishes. And that's how I kind of made my way to law school. I guess that's kind of also the basis of the beginnings of my social justice work. It was part of what we do, who I am. In some ways, we call it social justice work, but I don't know if it's work. I don't know what you call it, but I think sometimes it's just like the fabric of who you are. And so you can do that work from so many different, I say you can do it from any space. I was also at the Center for Social Justice and Public Service. That was my first role that I had at the law school when I came back. But today I direct the Katharine and George Alexander Community Law Center. It's the law school's community-based clinic. It's about 2 miles from campus. And as you may know, we have a twofold mission. That's to train law students and then to provide free legal services for low-income people. We train law students to be lifelong social justice advocates. So as we said before, no matter what you're doing, what kind of work you're doing, you can do that work through a social justice lens. We have a staff of about 8 people, along with students and volunteer attorneys. We serve about 1,000 people each year. Now, my primary role there is administrator. And I say that kind of as an aside, and in some ways I think this connects to something Colleen said earlier about utilizing your skill set, right? So some people know that working full-time in public interest and social justice is not the right space for them for whatever reason. And for me, early on, I realized that I love administration. That's where I feel like my skill set is stronger. It's what I love to do. And so that's the kind of work that I do. My pastor many years ago said something that really stuck with me. He said, when you're operating in your gift, you have maximum effectiveness with minimal frustration. So I don't know if he was the first one to coin that term, but it stays in the back of my mind in the sense that you know when you're doing the work that's right for you. So administration is my sweet spot. I also really love teaching. I also really like direct service, but I know that my sweet spot is administration. So whatever you're doing, if you can, find your sweet spot. What is the role that's right for you? And when you find that role that's right for you, it's interesting how the doors can open sometimes for you. So for me, I started in legal services not working as an attorney. I started in administration as a director of an agency. And that doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen again when you are kind of working in your sweet spot and working towards the areas that are best for you. So it wasn't so much that I was special. It was like, this is the right kind of role for me. And so I have been like honing that skill set even in different arenas. I'd worked in HR, I'd worked in contracting at a corporation and other things, but those skill sets were just what was needed for the East Bay Community Law Center when they went from a small organization. Many people may know of them. They are affiliated with Berkeley Law, but they grew from like 10 or 12 people to when I came, there were like 20 people. And then now they're at about 90. But they needed someone with that administrative skill set that also had a law degree to run that. So anyway, that was kind of an aside, but I just wanted to give you a flavor of how I came to this work and how you can have all different kinds of skill sets and use them to effectuate justice or bring about change. And many of my social justice work actually happens outside of Santa Clara law. So in addition to, working at the law center, I was recently for about 5 or 6 years, the State Bar of California's Access to Justice Commission. I'm also working with the California Lawyers Association and their Diversity Outreach Committee. Our primary focus is pipeline to get more people of color and diverse folks into the legal field, also part of the Santa Clara County Bar Association, an agency that I've been quite active in the last few years is the Charles Houston Bar Association. I'm currently their legal services chair. I'm also the co-chair of our kind of newly formed racial justice task force. With our current charge is around focusing on anti-racism efforts, especially as it relates to police brutality. And as Ellen was mentioned, this next, what is it, like 70 days now, 65 days, the Get Out the Vote efforts, not only at the presidential level, but also looking at supporting legislation that will advance anti-racism efforts. So one proposition we're supporting, for example, is Prop 16, which is looking to repeal Prop 209 and or restore affirmative action. So I could talk for a long time, which I already did. So I'll stop right there and look forward to just connecting with all of you.